Welcome back once again to the WGLNA. I've lost the jacket because it's heating up in here. So we're about to jump into our second match, River of Blood versus Scurry Hard. That is a match in progress, and Scurry Hard does lead 1-0.
You could have built a much better bridge for yourself. You could have said, I'm losing the jacket because I'm about to take a swim in the River of Blood, because we are, you know.
That's clever as hell.
That would have been a better bridge.
I started to say, I had my jacket on, but then I was going to take my jacket off, but then I felt like that would sound really bad.
Why?
Just because. Nature of wordplay.
It makes no way.
I was afraid I would get tongue twisted and say something stupid.
Either way, Ben, we do have a small update already, and that is, as you mentioned, because we went past 6 p.m. with our first match, and that was the time that River of Blood was going to start against Scurry Hard. River of Blood is down 0-1. That makes me a little bit sad, as they are still my favorite team in the league, not because I know all that much about them, but I had the pleasure of casting them in the qualifiers, which was my very first World of Tanks cast, and I really enjoyed their playstyle. They switched it up. Not every game was YOLO swag 420 straight through the middle, but every now and then they would
every other game was.
Pretty much, like they roll a dice, like even or uneven. Like even is YOLO and uneven is alright, guys. Passive play. I really like the team. I think it's a really fun team to watch.
Yep.
And also, this is a really cool match because this is the only match of the night where both teams have already won their first game. Like we have a couple of where one team won or where both teams lost. This is the only match tonight where both teams have won their very first game. So either of these two teams is going to get their first loss of the season.
Yep. I think invites are going out, so I'm going to make sure all of my observers have jumped into game. But in the meantime, as you pointed out, Kev, both these teams were match 1 winners. However, it was harder fought for some than the other. Scurry Hard going way into overtime against Cazadors and barely pulling that one off, I gotta say.
I must say, River of Blood had a pretty close war as well. I believe against Refuse to Die. Correct me if I'm wrong, Randall, but I think it was Refuse to Die against River of Blood.
It was a Bag of Kittens team.
That is Refuse to Die, yeah.
So I remember in the beginning, the Captain Blood said, the only reason I can think of putting a bunch of kittens in a bag is to drown them in a river of blood. That's what he said in the interview.
You have to be careful with this kind of stuff, because before you know it, NSA is watching.
You see, like he says that to the SWAT team, just storms in and drags him. No, I didn't mean it.
Hey, you're making jokes about this, but this could potentially happen.
They're going to storm in our studio and drag me off. Let's take a look at the Scurry Hard team profile. As these guys are up 1-0 over River Blood, led by Squirrelin, Blazzy, Son of Hail, Squirrel Tag, Kaneka, Dadama, Rylac, a Floppy Giraffe, Tofu Smurf, and Thorn rounding out that lineup. I got to say, I love the name, a Floppy Giraffe, because it just reminds me of a very derpy giraffe running around with his head like flopping around. Can you kind of see it?
Oh, yeah, I can see it, but that's what I have with pretty much every second nickname in World of Tanks. Now, guys, I'm new to the community, and I'm really having a lot of fun, certainly learning the game online, play a lot of games myself. Every now and then, Rookhill is there to help me out, but you guys really have to work on your nicknames. Now, I was not the most creative person in history with my nickname. I'm going to get off the hook with that, but these nicknames, like a Bag of Kittens.
It's a good nickname.
A floppy giraffe. And we have so many more. It's like my Gerd, Kerner Vern, like really, guys. And West we met Trouble too. Awesome dude, really fun. But it's like, come on, you really had to pick that team name. It's like, oh, you guys are making it very hard on us. I mean, we also had Lord Poopy Pants in the qualifier.
I am so sad that Lord Poopy Pants didn't make it. He was definitely my favorite player.
He was a good team on Cunningham, but he was no whiskey dot. What does the dot stand for again? Because I can
it really stands for Destroyer of Dance. He's actually a worse dancer than I am.
I thought it was Dance of the Dragon.
I thought it was...
Well, there's my share.
I thought it was Defeat of the Dragon.
Dominator of Dragons.
Either way, guys, map number 2 is about to start. It is going to be played on Abbey. I'm excited. Ben's excited. Let's take a look at our map intro, and we'll be right back with game number 2 between River of Blood and Scurry Hard.
Time to roll out indeed, and that map intro, our man Dan Frodan hooking us up with some sweet camera shots as always. Dan sitting to our left today, the silent observer, but we can always tell when he's on the camera because you get the most artistic shots of all time. He like zooms in on a lily pad and fans out to a tank blowing up. I don't know how he does it. It's a sixth sense. We got Scurry Hard in red spawning on the north side of the Abbey and River of Blood, who chose this map, by the way, and we're starting to see why. Check this out. We've got a big concentration of tanks moving up from the eastern side.
Also got a T1 Cunningham in the middle, I believe. Scouting a little bit. This is something you see oh so often. Right now I have to ask why pretty much every single team that spawns on the north side of Abbey goes to the west side of the map immediately. Like, this is something I've seen like 4 out of 5 games.
The west side I would consider to be the strongest. You get a nice high ground, and it's very hard for the enemy to attack you.
This is beautiful right now. The T1 of River Blood, sorry to interrupt you there, guys, pushing away the T1 of Scurry Hard, and River is going to push right through the center. They've got a shorter route to the flag than Scurry Hard did, so they're going to have a better opportunity to set up the cap, and Scurry Hard is immediately going to have to make a decision. Do they come back and defend, or do they push and try to counter cap?
They still got a defensive T1 as well, so they could potentially scout those tanks, even though it's most likely going to be picked off immediately. Now I think Scurry Hard is aware of what's going on, and I think they're going back. And then we're going to have all hell break loose.
They're going to have to make a decision pretty quick, and
they're going back.
Yes, I think they are going to go back. It hasn't been like a concentrated team effort. This, like, they can't seem to make up their mind. A little bit of indecision here as River of Blood going to work their way right up on top of that flag, and there it goes. Not even wasting a shot on Son of Hail. They're just going to sit back. The T1 did get picked off. But the rest of the team going to sit on the flag, and here comes Scurry Hard. They are going to come back, but they're going to be trickling through a very narrow choke point one by one, and there's a lot of auto-loader action focused on that position. Rylac is immediately oh my goodness.
Captain Blood has such a good proxy scouting there as well. That's unreal. He's going to lit up all these tanks. Now Rylac's actually just going to drive down on top of Captain Blood. What the hell?
But that's not going to help reset the flag at all. Rylac and the T-69, they need his firepower. Captain Blood trying to get him tracks, trying to force him to pay attention, but he's wasting shots on Captain Blood. 65%. One of those 5100s does go down, but look how well protected. Look how well protected Laps is in the midst of those 5100s. Very critical moments here. T-69 is going to push forward. They have got to protect Laps. He represents all the capture points. Oh, that T1 is in a bind right now, completely shielded with these 5100s. Oh, and more resets going down, 27% right now. Both teams taking heavy damage, but it looks like Scurry Hard actually getting the better of this exchange. Another 5100 will fall as Blasi leading the charge here.
Blasi might actually get picked up over here. No, the T1 is so low on HP.
Hi, Laps! No!
Squeeze!
Laps!
Laps will fall, and with that, this cap adventure is pretty much over as well. That was actually very, very well done by Scurry Hard.
Excellently defended by Scurry Hard. I gotta say, I love the execution of the attack by River of Blood. I'm not sure where it fell apart. It looked like they had everything going for them. Did they just miss too many shots?
You can't do this on Abbey. This strat doesn't work, and there's a lot of reasons.
Well,
let's go over those reasons.
Decipher it for us real quick, because I'm not seeing it.
So you see how that was Scurry Hard went up in the west, right? And I was talking about how there was a high ground there. From that high ground, you have a great vantage point on your own capture. It's, aside from a rock that's only big enough maybe to cover one tank from one angle, you have this huge open field, and on top of that they had the T1 underneath the Abbey. And he actually took down, that was Laps, the last T1, he took him down to 1 health. Almost killed him, almost. And he was still peppering those 5100s with shots. So he was able to stop cap all by himself just because he's able to put out that many rounds, and one or two have to pen on any tank. And on top of that, we saw actually an expert T-69 take out, what was the other T1's name? That was Doc Golem. He was on the approach to the cap, and in the whole group, in the whole herd, he was picked out. So that was a T-69 seeing the fact that there was a cap fast coming and saying, I'm going to kill the T1. He's the guy that's going to end up getting the most cap. I can worry about the 5100s later. They're huge targets. It's just, you can't do that on Abbey.
Well, great play from Scurry Hard then, recognizing that and making the right decisions. I still love the boldness of Captain Blood and his boys going for the fast cap. I think it's something that we really like in River of Blood. They're so exciting in that regard.
I thought the position of the 132, like, it looked really smart at first because he was lighting up all those tanks in the high ground, but somehow they were never really able to put a lot of damage on those tanks. Like, what were the tanks shooting on? Because I was following Captain Blood.
They're all firing on those 5100s. And just dealing constant damage to the tanks that were on cap.
Yeah, but like, what were the tanks that were on cap shooting on? those 5100s?
You know, that's a great question. I think they were missing a lot of shots.
We can actually look at that. If we look at my screen, we can look at see how these 5100s actually fared as far as their accuracy. And actually, as I see, Canada firing 6 times, only hit 3. So that is a huge number of misses.
Yep,
On top of that, Striker, 6
shots, 4 hits.
And only 3 penned, so one of those was a bounce. And then Doppler only got 3 shots off.
Didn't even get through his clip?
Yeah, didn't even get through. The WZ got all the shots that he could get off, but of course, his job wasn't the main damage dealer. Savagey did, however, do a decent job in his T69. He got 8 shots off. He did hit 6, but this is less accuracy than we should expect out of this level of play. I think because, you know, they spent their whole time running up to the cap. They were probably a little less organized, you know. They a little more frantic, but at the same time, you have to make those shots count. That could have saved them. If they'd made all their hits, that could have been it. That could have been the win, because the 69s would have made it all the way.
Very exciting strategy there out of River of Blood. Excellent defense from Scurry Hard. I mean, Scurry Hard goes up 2-0 in this best of 5. They could clinch it on the next map. We're going to take a short break, and we'll bring that to you when we get back. Somebody got a hold of one of my replays.
This is one of my favorite little clips. This is one thing, because that's when stuff like that happens. Like obviously that scenario doesn't happen too often, but there are those moments.
It happens to me all the time, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always stuck and dying.
It's so funny when like someone is really stuck and you know he's stuck and he just can't turn around and you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, this is it's gonna look good on my stats. And you're like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, and you hope that none of your allies comes to assist you because you want all the damage. It's fun. We're
moving on to Ruinberg, guys, for battle number 3 between Scurry Hard and River of Blood. Let's jump right into it. And here we go, River Blood in blue, taking up the south spawn, the spawn that has so traditionally been the spawn that gets to dictate the course of the game. Will you be defensive? Will you be aggressive? And no surprise to us, River of Blood is getting aggressive. What could be seen as a little bit of a surprise, so too is Scurry Hard. Both teams heading north, where the battle is going to end up shaping up. River of Blood will control that village faster as they've taken the more direct route. Is that going to have any effect on the outcome of this first fight, though?
The tank selection is very even. Sorry, Renna, once more. Tanks are pretty much the same, with the exception of one T69 on the side of Scurry Hard, while River of Blood is full on the AMX 5100s and the IS-3s.
Yeah, I was about to just answer the question. The fight, it will be dictated by where it happens here. We see Squirrel Tag actually and Laps meeting early. Oh, Canada, nice shot. And then Laps goes down too, so T1 for a T1 trade here. Very early damage, but Captain Blood is moving way up. He's moving too far up, I'd say, and it looks like I think Captain Blood's going to get caught out
here. He does bait some shots and taking no damage. Finally, Blasey in position to get some good shots off, and Blasey hits 2 for 2 right there. 3 for 3. Captain Blood down to just 576 hit points.
Yeah, and his ally took a lot of damage as well.
Oh my God, Blasey just does not miss. With a 4th shot connecting as well. Captain Blood down to just 300 hit points. Randall was right on. He had overextended and was punished for it big time. Doppler also getting peppered a little bit there.
On the right side by the
down goes the captain.
This is actually starting to look really bad for River of Blood already. They took so much damage while barely landed any shots on the tanks of Scurry Hard.
And not only have they lost Captain Blood and their and a lot of hit points, they're also out one of their critical scouts. They have no vision on Scurry Hard. We can see Rylak is postured up behind one of those buildings, but we also know that the rest of Scurry Hard is somewhere along this road. And how is River Blood going to play it out? Looks like they are going to continue to be aggressive. Unbelievable that in the face of this they can continue to push. Savage looks like he wants to lead the charge with that IS-3, slowly making his way forward.
Savage was the big man of River of Blood in the qualifier with some MVP plays. River of Blood is going to need Savage to be an MVP once more if they want to turn this bad boy around. As it's starting to look pretty bad for them.
Yeah, I would not be pushing up like this if I were River of Blood. They're putting themselves in crossfire.
Again, Blasey just refusing to miss. Huge damage out of Blasey, and he picks off 2 more tanks, I believe. Just absolutely dissecting River of Blood. Excellent positioning by Blasey. Excellent shot picking, I'll call it, as he is not missing at all. Now he's going to get aggressive. Canada Duck realizing that he's going to have to give up this position. I don't see any way back in this for River of Blood.
It's
a 1 T-rate tank against 5 of them.
Blazzy's going to go right after him, taking the fight right to him. Give me that top gun, says Blazzy. He's going to run down. Canada Duck does finally miss a shot there. I don't know if their bouncer just sailed wide. He's finally going to disengage from that fight, and as soon as he does, in comes Squirrelin.
He's going to ram him. Oh! I think the Doma got it.
No,
in the
Blazzy
end.
got it. Blazzy took damage, so I think he gets the kill.
No, he didn't. The Doma got it.
No, there is no justice in this world. How many kills does Blazzy have?
Just one.
Because he was doing all the work, but he's not getting the kills.
He just got 1 kill. The only thing that's remaining for River of Blood in that second clan war of the season is one of the T1 Collinghams. And I must say this was a very quick clan war. We lost it. We missed the first match because it already started when we were still casting the last game. But the remaining 2 maps, they were very, very short. And I have to admit, pretty one-sided as well, as Scurry Hard just looked really, really solid.
Yeah, incredibly dominant. Final kill of the night gonna go to, who's it gonna be? Boom! Blazzy. Just steamrolls
Whoa.
that T1.
And now Kaneka is attacking Blazzy. Whoa! Kaneka killed Blazzy in the end while we're already looking at the victory screen.
Bad, man. I want to see how much damage Blazzy did there. I feel like he carried the day. Excellent play there from Blazzy and from the entirety of Scurry Hard. What a just a convincing performance. 3-0 against River of Blood, one of our favorites coming out of the qualifier. Scurry Hard might be a dark horse here, guys. We were talking about it in our last break.
Yeah, and so if we go ahead and look at my screen, we actually can talk about that damage. Look at Blazzy. He shot 11 times, hit 10.
We saw the one miss. We saw the one miss as he was on the move.
Oh, yeah.
Sailed it high. So 11 shots, 9 penetrations for 2,500 damage. What a performance there out of Blazzy.
Good position as well, and yeah. As you said as well, it was weird that Captain Blood was so aggressive in his IS-3. Kind of like in the middle as well, not just exposing himself to one side, but kind of to both sides, because the IS-3s were on the other side, and when he finally took cover that he wouldn't get hit by those tanks anymore, Blazzy still had him in his crossfire, and was able to release all those shots. A little too over-eager, I'd say.
Yep. I can sort of understand it, too, after going down 0-2. You really want to make something happen, and you just find yourself pushing forward a little bit too far. Lord knows I do that every time I play World of Tanks.
Yeah.
And this is a game where you get punished for overextending.
Yeah, I think it was just a lack of communication. I can see their Blood saying, guys, forward, 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 and not, you know, forgetting where everyone
Suddenly
was.
realizing that he's surrounded by enemies.
Yeah,
or surrounded by Blazzy, I should say.
Poor guy.
So, unfortunate run of events there for River of Blood. Excellent showing there out of Scurry Hard. Now 2-0 in the WGL. Barely getting past Cazadores. Now making it past River of Blood pretty convincingly. Very nicely done there from that team. Our next match is going to be Mop 4 versus Wreak Havoc. And we're going to be bringing you that one right after this next commercial break. Man, my mouth is suddenly clamming up. I think I'm so excited. Everything's just swelling up.
Havoc.
Be right back.